that day was going to come, that I'd make more in one day than it used to take me an entire year to make. Why? Because I know what I know. And so, guys, we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot of gratitude. Enjoy. One thing my mentor said, and I'll never forget this, is he said, Patrick, take a lot of pictures. And I used to think to myself, I don't want to take a lot of pictures because I am in the worst position I've ever been in, right? Meaning I was literally had no money. I don't want to sit here and sound, I walked uphill both ways in a snowstorm for school. But I can remember, and I used to think to myself, I ain't going to take any pictures of that. The only thing I wish I would have done, took some pictures. I wish I could start off tonight with, here's where I used to sleep. Here's my 1983 Escort GT that wasn't cool in 1983, and it definitely wasn't cool in 1999, right? Here's my suit that was fireproof. I bought it from Sears, right? I could have rolled around in a fire at any point with that suit. That suit would stand on its own in the corner. Here's that white shirt that I wore with that suit. I wore a suit every meeting. Every meeting I did, I wore a suit. Because here's what I realized. If I wore a suit, you treated me differently. Does that make sense? So I just wear a suit. People knew I was the guy giving the presentation, the guy in the suit here in the living room. I was sitting there with the suit on. Why? Because I'm a professional. And I was wearing professional outfits when I was doing. Now, look, today, you put a $50,000 watch on, you can wear a sweatsuit, right? People know you got all kinds of money, right? But back then, I had to, right? The point that I'm making is practice. Practice. Because when it happens, and it's going to happen, I want you to be there with us on the beaches of the world. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to be the one saying, man, I could have been there. I just didn't go in it hard enough. I just didn't push. I just didn't sell out enough. And if you have a family, sit with your family. You're doing this for your family. You're doing this for the love of your family. Look, I did this because I love my family. Even sometimes when your family didn't understand, I was doing it for them. Does that make sense? And that's part of the story, because here's what my mentor said. He said, Patrick, you got to relate to everyone. So unless you go through the experience, you can't relate to everyone. So if you have a negative family member, good, because that's going to relate to the next person that has a negative family member. If your best friend didn't become your customer, good. So when the next person's best friend didn't become their customer, you can relate to them. If you have people quitting on your team, good. Because when they have people quitting on their team, you can relate to them. The greatest people are the ones that can relate to everybody, yes or no. Imagine if you came in and everybody said yes, and every person became a customer, and every friend of yours supported you, and I came in behind you and said, none of my friends want to be a customer, and everybody thinks a bad idea. What would you say? Well, I don't know how to deal with that, Pat. Everybody I talked to said yes. Every friend I had supported me. You're not a good you know what you go? Let me tell you, my mom wouldn't even become my customer, right? Like, that is a real story, right or wrong. That's when you're like, all right, so I'm not crazy, and I'm on the road to success because you became successful and you had these difficulties, and I guess I can have it too. So guys, let's leave tonight with a prayer. Let's be thankful for where we're going.